So, Max Verstappen, a name that commands respect in the world of Formula 1. Over the course of his 8-year career, he has earned a reputation as a fearless and aggressive driver, consistently pushing himself and his car to the limit. With 37 victories and 2 championships to his name, there is no denying his skill and talent on the track. However, at the last race, Verstappen was given a taste of his own medicine by George Russell, and it's fair to say he wasn't pleased. But is that fair? Does Verstappen have a right to be as angry as he was, given his own history of aggressive overtaking? Is Max Verstappen a hypocrite? So the sprint race in Baku was eagerly anticipated by Formula 1 fans, but unfortunately it turned out to be somewhat of a disappointment. However, the collision between Max Verstappen and George Russell on lap 1 certainly provided some excitement. Verstappen, who had started in 3rd place, was challenged by Russell going into turn 2. Russell was on the inside and Max was hanging it around the outside. And well, they collided, forcing Verstappen to give up his position. But it didn't make much of a difference, as after a safety car period, Verstappen overtook Russell back and finished in 3rd place. However, when the drivers returned to the pits, Verstappen went over to Russell and they had a heated exchange. Russell thought that Max was coming over to say what a good fight it was, but instead Max accused Russell of causing the crash that resulted in a hefty chunk of Max's side pod disappearing. Russell replied saying he had no grip, but Verstappen responded by saying everyone had no grip, and then called him a certain word I probably can't repeat on this channel. And well, in the media pen after the race, Verstappen still wasn't holding back. He called Russell immature and said that he was experiencing a bit of a learning curve. He also suggested that Russell seems to like crashing into the Red Bulls. But regardless of whether it was Russell's or Verstappen's fault, everyone is talking about how Verstappen reacted. For what seemed like aggressive 50-50 driving from Russell, Verstappen was fuming. But it's hard to ignore the fact that Verstappen has built his career on aggressive 50-50 driving, which begs the question of whether he is a bit of a hypocrite. Now, let's not forget, Max Verstappen's career in Formula 1 began at the age of 17 and has spanned over 8 years already. However, from the outset, he has been known for his aggressive driving style. And well, the 2016 Belgian Grand Prix showcased Verstappen's dangerous driving and brought him to the forefront of public attention. During the race, Verstappen tangled with both Ferraris at the start, then pushed Raikkonen off the track at the end of the straight, and weaved very dangerously on the straight, coming very close to causing a significant crash. And so, the Belgian Grand Prix in 2016 marked the beginning of Verstappen's reputation as a skilled but aggressive driver. This reputation has only grown as Verstappen has continued to push the limits of what is acceptable in the sport. Verstappen's driving style has polarised the F1 community, with some admiring his fearlessness, while others criticise him for putting other drivers in danger. And well, over the years, Verstappen has matured as a driver, but his aggressive streak has remained. He's been involved in numerous incidents as a result of his aggressive driving style, but it is this very style that has made him one of the most exciting drivers in Formula 1. This unique driving style and attitude demands respect, but definitely also creates controversy. Nicknamed Mad Max, he's known for lunging aggressively from behind and getting his elbows out. And much like Ayrton Senna, he puts his opponents in a position where they either back out from an overtake or crash. As Lewis Hamilton puts it, Max is do or die. It's like you're either crashing or not going by. Well, despite the criticism he has faced, Verstappen labels his driving style as controlled aggressiveness, and he has become known for his ability to push the boundaries of what is acceptable on the track without crossing the line into recklessness, most of the time. However, this attitude towards racing got turned up a notch when he found himself in the midst of a championship battle with Lewis Hamilton during the 2021 season. While Verstappen's style of racing has earned him a reputation as one of the sport's most exciting drivers in Formula 1, it has also created huge tension and controversy during the 2021 championship battle with Lewis Hamilton. Their first major clash during the 2021 season was at the Imola Grand Prix, where Verstappen executed a controlled, aggressive move to take the lead at turn 1. And well, the competition between the two drivers only continued to intensify, leading to their infamous crash at Silverstone. But for me, this crash wasn't so much an example of Max's aggression, but more his short-sightedness. Essentially, it could be argued that his lack of experience in intense championship battles may have led to a lapse in judgment. But the rivalry between the two drivers reached boiling point during the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, Verstappen's driving style was deemed too aggressive, with him pushing Hamilton off the track and getting his elbows out way too much to keep the lead of the race. Many F fans were displeased with his behaviour, resulting in criticism from both fellow drivers, not just Hamilton, and the media. And so, as the final race in Abu Dhabi approached, there was a sense that Verstappen would do anything to win the championship, even if it meant bending or breaking the rules. In the end, Verstappen emerged as a champion, but his aggressive driving style and tactics certainly remained a big talking point. Now, many have pointed out that he can be quite aggressive on the track and is not afraid to take risks. We know this. But some have even compared him to Michael Schumacher, who was notoriously known for playing dirty in order to win. Schumacher famously crashed into Damon Hill in 1994 to win the championship, and attempted to do the same to Jacques Villeneuve in 1997, which then resulted in his disqualification from the entire championship. And let's not forget, before Abu Dhabi, there were genuine discussions of a possible repeat of this by Max Verstappen if all hope was lost. But being bold and aggressive is not uncommon in new and promising drivers, and it mainly indicates a lack of maturity. Even Lewis Hamilton went through a similar phase in his early years in F1, constantly being in the steward's room for his on-track conduct. However, Max is now racing in his 9th F1 season and has almost 170 race starts under his belt. So it is hard to justify his behaviour as mere inexperience, as he has had ample time to mature as a driver. It does seem that Max is still trying to figure out how his aggressive and risky driving style works when fighting for a championship. While taking calculated risks is necessary in F1, settling for second place in some cases is almost more important in order to maintain an advantage. And well, based on his clash with George Russell in Baku, it appears Max still needs to learn this more calculated attitude. So the recent incident between George Russell and Max Verstappen at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix has caused quite a stir in the Formula 1 community. Some have criticised Verstappen's aggressive driving style, while others have pointed out that Russell's move was just as bold. However, the way that Verstappen reacted to the incident has also raised some eyebrows. And well, many have accused Verstappen of being a hypocrite. After all, he has built his reputation and 2 world championships using the same bold and aggressive driving style that Russell displayed in Baku. And so it doesn't seem fair for Verstappen to react the way he did, given his own track record. If anything, Verstappen's reaction suggests he may be feeling the pressure of the championship fight. It's unclear whether this is coming from his teammate Sergio Perez or for other reasons. However, it's clear that Verstappen needs to have more composure in situations like this, not just to avoid incidents in the future, but also to avoid making a scene after the race. So of course, there may be different opinions on who was at fault in the incident between Russell and Verstappen. But you've got to say, the way that Verstappen reacted to the incident was not his finest moment. As a seasoned Formula 1 driver and a 2-time world champion, Verstappen should have the maturity and composure to handle these situations with more grace and professionalism. Whether he learns from this experience remains to be seen, but you start to wonder, how much more time does he need to mature?